go.
Okay, hey Tara, we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the meeting will come to order at, looks like 8:02 a.m. on Thursday, May 26th, in the Waterville Valley Town Hall. No, we're not in the Town Hall. We're in the
Meeting room.
we're in the meeting room in Town Square. Okay, we can start the roll call. You want to start with
Mike Capel, member.
Nancy Knight, member?
John Racine, member.
Alan Burko, alternate.
Rich Rita, ex officio.
Morgan Dean, alternate.
Okay, I guess we should seat the alternates for members who aren't here. Why don't we seat you for Wendy, and who else isn't here?
Bill Spence.
Bill. Okay, why don't we seat you for Bill? Sorry, I don't have Wendy's notes. Okay,
Madam Chair.
Yes.
May I raise a comment?
yes, you may.
I'd like to, I'm sorry I haven't an opportunity to talk to you beforehand. I just finished my look into the matter, but I would like to take about 10 minutes before we start with the first agenda item to review an action by the planning board. I'm sorry, I missed the planning board last month, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago. I think the board made a hasty and ill-considered decision on the land use chapter. And before we go further, I think at least I'd like to explain why and perhaps get the board to reconsider its decision in the matter.
Okay,
I don't think you can do that
well-
at a workshop.
well, we can take that up with Tara, maybe.
Well, it was a board decision.
Oh,
At a workshop, we can do, I think, what we
Can do anything
Want
except
to.
vote,
Everything except
vote.
except vote. You just can't take. a-
Oh, all right, so you can explain
Yeah,
what it
you
is.
can explain.
We just can't change it.
well, why not? We haven't voted.
Well, if I could help, it's all a draft. No decisions have been made, no votes have been taken on any of it. You can talk about any chapter you want, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean,
And I missed the meeting, and so there's one issue I'd like to raise with that meeting.
all right, well,
If you give me 10 minutes.
It'd be helpful to me if you point me to where we're looking and I can screen
Yes.
the document so that I'm looking at the right place and.
Sure, it's the land acknowledgement statement.
No decision was made on that yet. That was tabled.
Right, but I would like to add my opinion on the matter.
Okay, I can't easily screen share that, so go ahead.
Well, is that,
I mean, as long as it works out, I mean, I was gonna hand things off to Tara to go through the chapters. But I want to hear what you have to say. I'm just wondering, time-wise, Tara, does it make sense to do it now or at the end, or?
I mean, I think it's fine, well, since he missed the meeting and it's on his mind. I just want to make sure he understood that no decision at all was made because there was no
Right.
consensus of the board at that meeting. So I don't have that statement in the draft yet.
okay, well,
Okay,
it was very, may I?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. It was, I did listen to the meeting, and I think we still have an issue with the recording, because I could hear Tara and I think Nancy very well, because I think you were on the system, but very difficult to hear people speaking in the room.
Yeah,
Well,
it was difficult for me as well to hear everybody. Actually, I couldn't hear Wendy as well as I could hear a couple gentlemen, but
Right.
in all, I think I got all the comments, and the direction on that was to table that and not put it in the draft for now until you guys had a chance to talk about it again.
Okay, well, let me just raise it from my perspective, and then we can just move on, and then when we pick it up again, we can pick it up. I think I want to do it now because I think another municipal board is moving down this path as well, and I would like to at least raise it from a planning board perspective, and perhaps it could be looked at by I'm talking about the Conservation Commission in this case. So with regard to the land acknowledgement statement, I think I heard at the beginning that this was adopted by the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commission.
No.
Okay,
Wendy asked that question and I didn't know the answer, and I don't think anybody else did. She asked the question.
okay. I went to their website and there is no such statement, no adoption of such a statement. There is an article in there by Mr. Michael Cohen, who was a former member of the Amherst Conservation Commission. And at the bottom of that article on views on, making everyday Earth Day, and he points out that the views of his do not represent those of the Amherst Conservation Commission. He gives a list of resources, and in the list of resources is the land acknowledgement statement. I would also note that, and again, I wasn't sure if I heard it correctly, and Tara, you would know, but the New Hampshire Association Conservation Commission is not affiliated with the state. It is actually an interest group that represents conservation commissions in front of the state to lobby the state for legislative relief, for legislative proposals.
And it's not affiliated with the state. It's even more a resource for sharing information and helping volunteers learn from each other than lobbying. But
Okay, thank you for that. That is an important component of what they do as well. So I did a little research on the land acknowledgement statement or declaration. I'm not quite sure exactly what the terminology is. And it is a nationwide and Canadian movement to put this statement or versions of this statement into municipal documents or into municipal declarations in an effort to further the organizations that are involved in this effort, political goals. And these organizations are political and highly partisan. And I think that's an important point when it comes to an appointed board like the planning board becoming involved in what could be perceived as an effort to support this highly partisan effort. So
Rich,
yeah.
partisan on whose part?
In this particular case, I would say it was left.
Left, you mean the Native
Progressive.
American people?
No, it's a progressive. The organizations that support this statement are progressive social. They describe themselves as social justice organizations, and not only do they support various Native American rights as they perceive them, but they also support such issues as, and actually I don't think it's germane, but since you asked, BLM, non-gender binary identity, and so forth.
can I make a suggestion so that we can move on? Because it's 10 after. You guys have a lot to get through, but it was brought to New Hampshire by a Native American woman representing the Native American organizations, and she's not from New Hampshire. She's not Abenaki. It wasn't clear that it was even a recommendation of your Conservation Commission. I presented it as a recommendation of your Conservation Commission chair. It's been tabled. I'm not sure. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not going in the next draft that I'm going to be releasing. Couldn't you just consent to leave it tabled and move on?
I would be willing to do that if I could make one last point or two last very quick points on the matter. And they would be that this land acknowledgement statement is an effort, a political effort to support highly partisan activities, which specifically I mentioned, if you look at the Indigenous New Hampshire Collaborative Collective, with which the Conservation Commission is in contact, this land recognition statement is helpful and important to them, as they say, for their effort to recognize Indigenous Peoples' Day in New England as opposed to Columbus Day. They also talk about, and they do have a flyer on the matter. They also talk about Thanksgiving as something that is refers to the genocide of names of Indigenous people, the fact of Indigenous land, and so forth and so on. I am not trying to make a comment on whether or not anybody agrees or disagrees with any of these statements. My bottom line is that I believe this to be a political matter that's best brought, if someone wants to if someone wants to move forward with the land acknowledgement declaration, it should be done at town meeting. And let the people vote on whether or not they want the town to support the effort to support the group's efforts to achieve their goals, a couple of which I mentioned.
The town's gonna have to vote on all of this anyways.
No, the town does not vote on the master plan.
Town's gonna,
The town doesn't vote on the.
Tom doesn't vote on that.
No, that's not. It's our document.
All right, why don't we
I think we should move on
yeah,
because
why
this
don't
is gonna get heated.
take your
I don't want
comments
our talking
and
more.
we'll digest them
Well,
and
as
we'll
I
decide
said,
later.
yeah,
We're not gonna,
of
you
course,
can't,
now
we're
you're
not- you can't make that
talking
decision now, but we'll,
I'm
We've
fine
got
moving
that.
on,
Okay.
Nancy, but
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make a point about whether it's right or wrong. I'm talking about just process and
Sounds like-
procedure and where it belongs.
all right,
And that
well,
isn't
we'll
town
think
meeting.
about it.
That's the point I wanted to make. Thank you.
But, okay, why don't we start? Tara,
So we'll be picking up with the infrastructure chapter. And
Music.
wanted to ask Alicia, as far as I know, you don't have any applications for the first meeting for your regular June meeting, is that right? You just have a conceptual?
Of the picture of the Sean is coming about the lights, as far as I know, there's not anything else.
Yeah, so if you don't get through this before you need to vacate the room, I'm sure we can finish it up that day. So this chapter was it takes a village kind of chapter. Mark helped with a lot of it. Had some provided by his department heads. I just edited it and put it together. So I'm not going to really answer any questions about the content, but hopefully Mark can. So we'll just go through kind of section by section, like always, if that works for you, Nancy.
sure, that sounds great.
Did anyone have any, and I'm going to make edits while we're here on the fly. When I can and quickly. Or if not, I'll make a note to revisit something. So did anyone have any comments or questions on the introduction?
I'm sorry, is that 7.1? I'm trying to.
Yes.
Quickly. I believe the correct number, it may be better to put 600 instead of 500.
Where is that?
We're over.
First sentence.
We're over.
That very first sentence, thank you.
We just want to say 650, just to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but we said over, so.
I had a suggestion about the first sentence to kind of simplify it. To say differently, while Waterville Valley's resident population may feel large after recently doubling to over 600, comma, the number of, and then just go to the rest of the sentence. The number of people actually present in the town is typically much larger.
So take out after. through.
Yeah, that's, the other stuff, I don't think.
Are we,
That's okay.
sorry, can you say it again? May feel large after recently doubling.
I said, while Waterville Valley's resident population may feel large after recently doubling to over 600, comma.
Okay.
When was it 300?
When I moved here?
Huh?
2019. It was in the 300s.
Yeah.
Like this, can you?
And it stayed.
No, I'm curious what you said recently. I mean,
Thank you.
I don't know how far back that was.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then in the next sentence,
Did I get this changed right here?
oh, can anybody else read it? Did she get it? Thanks. Okay, I was just gonna say in the next sentence, the then should be a than with an A.
Yep.
That's all I have for 7.1.
And the second paragraph, do we want to capitalize rec department and town library? I forget which way we're moving.
I don't.
I wouldn't think those are capitalized.
Well, we're saying a recreation department, so it's the generic rather than the proper name.
And the town library?
Yeah, same. I mean, that's trying to be a generic term, so it's not.
Okay, I'm fine.
Yes,
I would move the word resident from resident population to after the 600. So Waterville Valley's population, blah, blah, blah. And then doubling to over 600 residents. I think it belongs there. I have a question.
Well, let me get that in first.
We have 300 more workers coming into town or 300 more people? It says approximately 300 more people commute to Waterville Valley. Is that workers or just people?
where are you looking?
Workers.
The middle of the first paragraph.
It's the second sentence.
But it says, I mean, this is due to those who work in town. And that's it. That's a modifying,
Okay,
I guess, clear. Is it not clear to other people if it starts saying this is due to those who work in town?
yeah, I guess I missed that work part, so I'm okay with that. And I think it's the last sentence, it should put 4,000, 6,000 people.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Kind of funny, that's a big range.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's good.
Nancy, in the second paragraph, going back to the question about recreation department and capitalization, it's really a Parks and Recreation Department. We've been changing the structure of that particular department. So I don't know if you want to add the words parks and recreation.
That's what we're gonna call it from now on?
Well, yes, they take care of the facilities, the recreational facilities, so, and there are now 2 divisions in that department.
Cool,
So-
okay.
wouldn't it make sense for me to do a search later on and do that throughout? But
Yes,
here-
well, yes.
But here, but not necessarily here where it's just a generic term.
However the board wants to do it, but I just want you to know that there are 2 divisions in that department.
And the Parks Division facilitates the guided hikes.
Right.
That's indicated in that sentence.
I would just refer to it in every spot, Parks and Recreation. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say recreation in one place, parks in another, I would just
Okay.
call it
Oh,
recreation.
I made a note to do a search and replace.
So we'll just do a global,
Use the name, because I had direction to replace what I had with the name Recreation Department, so I'll go back and do that.
okay.
In the middle of the second paragraph, it says capable police, fire, and EMS. I would change capable to professional.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So you should get out of jail free card. Not if they're too professional.
That's right.
Maybe
we ready to move on?
I'll say yes.
Sure. Sure, when I get a 7.2.
Could I, on the very first sentence in 7.2, perhaps we want to modify all modes, surface modes? We don't, it's not, because by all modes of transportation. Yeah. Nobody flies around, no one takes a train around. I'm not sure how to fix that. It's not all modes of transportation, it's by
Well, yeah, but see,
most surface modes of
but
transportation.
you see, it says pedestrian.
I think,
I would kind of eliminate
Well,
airplanes.
no.
We have
No.
landed multiple
No,
helicopters.
we need to use a word different than all. I had written various,
Multiple
but surface is
Various
even better.
surface, various
I think
surface.
more traditionally,
Train would be a surface mode.
more traditionally, you'd say multi-mode, so do you want to say multiple modes? Multimodal is the technical term.
Okay, multiples, if that's technical, we'll go for that one.
Yeah, I think any Nancy's various, my surface, a various surface, or multi, or multiple.
Yeah, that's
I'd
good.
say, I would rather have various than multiple. I mean, it is limited.
Yeah, various is kind of, I don't know.
Big.
I'm gonna pick that one, argue with, but
How about various surface?
Okay,
you guys are getting away from the proper terminology, right? The
Yeah.
proper
Oh,
term,
let's go with-
the proper term is multimodal, so I think the closest thing in general language is multiple modes.
Okay,
Okay, that's good.
You water it down too much, you haven't said anything. I think this was Wendy's section. It's too bad she's not here, but these, I don't think I can make it so you can see all 6 bullets at once, but.
yeah, on the bullets, the 5th one, I guess, I don't think I'd capitalize integrated.
Yeah, no, that's a mistake.
I don't think you need that vote, that vote. I think it's redundant. When you say sensitive town coordinated sidewalk, I think 5, that would kind of make 5 redundant.
Well, they can be there and not be integrated with each other, though. I think that was the point that bullet was trying to make, that because unless you do the plan in a comprehensive way, they don't end up integrated with each other necessarily.
Okay. I just thought it was redundant.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is. I think it's a different thought. I think this is more like when you looked at Green Peak and talked about the sidewalk plan. And
No, I understand. When I looked at the 3rd and said coordinated sidewalks, bike routes, track routes, et cetera, it kind of comes back to, I'm not an English major, but what is the difference between that and what is the difference between coordinated and integrated?
I
Well,
saw the coordinated sidewalk.
But
Theoretically.
the fifth one includes everything, including, buses and cars, which are not in the 3rd one.
Yeah.
Right, the 3rd one to me means this is a coordinated system versus integrated with the roads and parking. Okay,
Sure.
State maintained roads.
I just have a question for Jim and for Mark. I should know this as a select board member. I've forgotten it. When we talk about maintaining that stretch between ski area road and the bridge, what does that actually mean other than plowing?
It means ditch maintenance, it means,
Does it include repaving or any of that?
yes.
We're
Okay,
responsible.
so we're completely responsible.
For that portion of Triple I or 49 or whatever that
It's
actually is.
Triple I Road, from the intersection with Ski Area Road to the bridge by Depot Camp is actually owned by the Forest Service.
I was thought,
And we have an agreement with the Forest Service to maintain.
so in other words, it's a state road that we have to maintain.
It, I don't think it's a state road, it is
federal
a,
road.
it is a federal road.
Nothing more.
And they will not do any maintenance on it, so they leave the maintenance up to us.
Wow.
So, but we have to coordinate with them, so.
And that's it's also the full spec,
The full spectrum, we do
including
everything.
the town having to pay for paving.
The feds would not plow in winter, so they leave it up to us.
Right. It would be just like
The
the
gate.
road beyond that.
That's right, the gate, yeah.
Yeah, where it goes,
exactly.
Triple I goes further.
They would put
to
the
north.
gate at Ski Area Road
Right.
if we didn't plow.
Alright,
Okay.
but the bridge is theirs.
The bridge belongs to the feds,
Same
but
deal?
a same deal,
Same
they
deal?
will not maintain
Okay,
it.
that's what I,
All the way to the town.
That's
to
why
the
we have a
substation.
going down to the substation on West.
On West
on
Branch.
West Branch.
I call that part West Branch Extension because it's not really Triple I Road.
Thank you.
But that's actually,
That's
Important.
federal.
but that's actually important for the cost to maintain, to plow and everything else. That's,
Well, it's critical
It's
for our
critical
public
for us.
safety.
Right.
Sure.
It's our.
It's all the way
safety
around,
of
we're
access.
going that way.
Right.
Sure.
Anything on West Branch.
so, not to beat this to death, but because we maintain it, we can limit parking on it.
We do.
No, we would have to coordinate that with the feds. It's whatever rules they.
Well, we do
We
enforce,
maintain it,
yeah, we do enforce parking on Triple I road.
but it's not.
From
it's
the.
Not
extension of-
because of our parking ordinance, it's because of the federal, they say whether or not, or are they leaving it up to us?
They don't,
They don't
they've
care.
never given any direction.
Okay, all right.
And it's the same as
So
West
it's
Branch.
just-
Extension.
So we treat it as if we're maintaining the road,
Yeah.
we apply our.
We apply that.
Okay, I'm just, because I know you guys enforce it and everything else.
Break up the state and town.
Okay, that's
And in the, under the
interesting.
town
enough.
maintain,
Yeah.
under the town
Well, it's
maintain,
We should write that in then.
But that's really important for,
under the town maintained paragraph, Tara has captured that
Yeah.
section of Triple I.
The 0.6 miles.
Yes,
But we should add to the west, what we call the West Branch
that's probably what, another.
extension.
1,
That's outside of town.
So you could simply add that on and just make it whatever 0.7 or 0.8 of a mile, because it's really an extension of that Triple I road. Yeah, however you want to word it.
Yeah, from May to November, it's an extension. From there, for the other months, it's actually it's one road, you know.
So however you want to word it.
Capture the West Branch extension.
Yeah,
yeah,
It would come on the town maintained road, right?
yes, it would.
So we can say in state maintained, this includes the 49 and the Triple I road to Ski Area Road. And then maybe insert in there, West Branch Road from the not power station,
Substation.
the substation.
No, the state
It's
doesn't.
not state maintained.
yeah.
Right, it's town maintained.
Right,
So help me out here.
right, one paragraph.
Were there
Yeah.
any changes
Okay.
to the state maintained road section?
No.
Okay, so tell me what changes you're talking about making in town,
Jim, what's,
because we're not listing them. We're listing them down below in this table.
Right.
Yeah, but it does, because it's all 49.
Are we including in West Branch in the table 3950? Was that linear feet? Does that include from the substation up to the bridge?
I don't believe so.
it stops at the town.
It stops at the
line.
town line at the substation.
Sorry,
Sarah?
so here's the table that I was given.
Tara, I think that, the best way to do this is to add one more box, and we can get you a distance, and we'll just call it West Branch Extension, just so we capture those linear feet.
Okay, I'll make a note that you're gonna send me that.
And then in the text, you can put it right after.
And then we can add it to the 0.6, whatever the distance is, whether that's 0.7 or 0.8, because it's in the same category of triple I road. So we'll get you an edit for that sentence.
Yeah, I made a note that you're gonna send me that.
Yes, so, thank you.
In that same chart, in my version, the last entry is noon peak 1589, and then I see total.
Where,
Okay, I'm sorry, I figured it out. Never mind.
Put my Bremen Nazi hat on, maybe
please don't.
after today's
Don't use
comment.
that word.
Yeah.
After today's comment, maybe
We have to do it.
fits earlier discussion. I'm talking about Packards and Snows and broken snow mountain apostrophes or not. whatever
You tried,
decided.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Some of the road names have a.
I have a tradition, I have a different question.
But can I just finish?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We'll look at that.
I just want to be consistent,
Yes.
because other times we have
It-
Packers both ways, so.
Yeah, but you have a couple instances where the official road name has an apostrophe, whereas the place does not. So,
Yeah, so we will check, we will be consistent. We'll get back to Tara if there needs to be any changes.
right, you wanna, I mean, you guys, there's official road names that the select board has voted on. That's what should be in this table, whatever it is. So I'll write down that you're getting back to me about that, Mark. But don't change them in the table if you haven't voted the change.
Correct.
Got
Yeah,
it. Thank you.
Mark or Rich, one of the things that has always questioned in my tiny brain, one of the major walkways of the valley is what I shouldn't use, it's a 4-mile loop. So when we talk about sidewalks and everything else and biking and everything else, I've always felt that that was not as safe as it could be, to say it nicely.
What walkway are you talking about? I'm sorry.
The 4-mile loop, which is partially town road, partially state.
Are you talking about going all the way?
The 4-mile loop.
Yeah. Right.
Right,
I got you.
which when we talk about safety of walking and biking and everything else. I've been run off the road on my bike there. I know other people have. I know other people have had near issues with walking and everything else. There's nothing we can do, I guess, with regard to the state/federal part of the 4-mile loop. Well, some is state, some is Forest Service road.
We talk about pedestrian issues in other places,
Okay, never mind.
not in this paragraph right here.
Hey, Tara?
Go ahead.
In the fourth paragraph after the table, I think we need a consistency issue with, you have Valley Road and then Tecumseh, but not Tecumseh Road.
Okay,
You know, and there's a bunch of places where that's true. So, you know, just before Snowsbrook, it's Snowsbrook Road. You know, it's picky, but I think we need to be consistent.
When I edited information I was provided, I wasn't that picky. I I corrected things but you're pickier than me here. Whoops.
Where they are, you did. Put road in there. You missed a few.
And wait and search if it comes up.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Are we in those paragraphs underneath Nancy, are we in those paragraphs underneath the table?
Well, actually, you know, I was wondering if this is actually not correct. Under town maintained road, the paragraph right there, second sentence. So we're talking about the 0.6 miles of Triple I Road, which is owned by the White Mountain National Forest. Now, we're talking about when you branch off of the ski area road, that little stretch where you always see bears when you're walking. So you don't say, you need to get rid of New Hampshire Route 49 and. So it should say this section extends from the intersection of the ski area road to the bridge at Depot Camp.
Say that once more. I'm in the right place.
No, okay.
Yeah, the third sentence should say, this section extends from the intersection of the ski area road. Road should be capitalized. That's its name. There's no access. It should say ski area road to the bridge at Depot Camp.
Right, you don't need the intersection.
Is it really?
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
Is it really a technical ski area road? Like
Yes.
Devereaux
It
Way?
is.
Yeah, I went into Google Maps. It's called
Okay.
ski area road.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
learned
impressed.
something.
I'm impressed it's on Google Maps.
Yeah.
We're not.
So who owns, I'm confused a little bit. Who owns from 49 to the ski area road?
That is the ski area road, is the other
Yeah,
name
the
for
resort would
Triple I
own that.
Road.
No, the state
So
owns
who owns
Triple I.
Triple I Road? Who owns Triple I Road from,
Mark does.
No.
From-
The federal government owned it, and there is a state right of way for Triple I Road in favor of New Hampshire DOT. So the ownership of that, the underlying land is White Mountain National Forest. But there is a permanent road easement in favor of DOT.
but that's what I said here, that
Yes, you
How
did.
many-
So is that longer than 0.6 miles then? So we're not just talking about where the road splits from ski area road.
It's this section then.
Yes, so hold on.
It starts all the way from 49?
Yeah, from 49 to Ski Area Road across the
It's
bridge.
state
up the hill.
maintained.
That is owned by the Forest Service
Okay,
and is maintained by the state of New Hampshire.
Right.
From Ski Area Road, where it turns to the right, that is a continuation of Triple I Road. It is owned by the Forest Service and it is maintained by the town.
Right.
Under agreement with the Forest Service.
okay,
And
so
that is
we got it right.
0.6. So Tara
This-
has it correct in the document.
Now.
so I lost track of what I fixed and broke, so.
So you're okay, the wording that you had in there and your explanation on the following page, to me, looks correct.
I think it probably came from you, so it should look correct. Because I didn't write this chapter, so
Right.
I think it's this section which you're getting at. Nancy, right?
Yeah, I mean, what you just said was that the state owns all of III, but from
No,
where,
no.
from 49
No,
to,
state doesn't own.
or not the state, the Forest,
Forest.
the Forest Service.
They own all.
Right, but Forest Service, but from 49 to where Ski Area Road starts, they maintain,
That's correct.
the state
The
maintains it.
state maintains.
Right, and then
Yeah.
from Ski Area Road to the bridge
At
is,
Midlothian.
that's what we
That's what the
maintain,
town maintains.
so that we have a loop.
Correct,
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's what, we changed that just now so that it's correct.
yes.
So I don't know if, I don't think I have it correct now. So tell me what it should say. This section extends from the intersection of,
Ski Area Road to the bridge at Depot Camp, that's what the town maintains. The town does not maintain it from 49, that state does.
Ski Area
Correct.
Road.
Yeah,
Yeah, removed from the intersection of NH Route 49.
right.
Okay,
Right, because what you have above that from 49 to the intersection
Of Ski Area Road.
of Ski Area Road is maintained by the state,
Correct.
should be in the upper paragraph. Yeah, what you have,
so we're good now?
yeah. I can't believe we did this.
So are we in the paragraphs under, or do you want to go paragraph by paragraph under?
My only suggestion is we should probably title the chart length of town maintained roads. Tara?
Okay, I'll make a note for that.
Okay, and we should put a source underneath it. Is it the town database?
I don't know.
Where'd we get the numbers?
Whoever gave it to me, I didn't write this chapter.
Okay, well, who got
We'll
it?
get you the official title, but it's a state document that
Okay.
actually has the road lengths.
Okay,
It's the nodal, it's the state highway nodal map. It has the length of everything. Because that's the basis, as she says in here, it's the basis for the highway block grant that we received from the state.
okay, yeah, we should have this source in here. Thank
So,
you.
so I had a question about that, Mark. Are we, if we're adding West Branch Extension, isn't the total gonna come out wrong?
We'll
double check.
We will double check. I believe we're already being paid for it, but I don't know that for sure.
Because
Well-
for the planning board information, that it's the data in the state's inventory comes from the town. That's why it's important that towns respond to any requests for updates that comes out. But just a reminder, I'm not going to be able to answer questions about this chapter. I just put it together and did a little bit of editing.
Okay.
Mark, is that how you spell Jasinski?
Uh,
Oh, no, it just popped up.
Oh, there it is.
No,
No.
no, that is not spelled right.
S instead.
It's,
S instead of C?
kind of
I
needs to go up.
believe so. I'll.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up.
Oh, it's on. It's on.
I'm not
Yes.
sure that's right.
I'm just gonna highlight it because I can't hear what you're saying. Too many people
Yes.
answering me.
It should be JASINSKI
In the table.
in the table. It's an S instead of a C.
Okay, great.
Nice catch.
Good catch. Donald, we're here.
He's here.
He is here.
He's awesome. He's everywhere. This is his.
He's everywhere.
Right up his.
He is.
Who's not here? Who's here?
On page 86, second little paragraph, Snows Brook Road, Package Road, should that be abbreviated? I always get confused with the abbreviation on,
Yeah, we're gonna check that, John, we're gonna check all of them to see how we've entered them into the database.
okay.
We will check.
Do we, is there a full name for VHB? Is that their full name? It just pops in all of a sudden.
Yeah, what is VHB?
It is their name. It,
Is there
The name of the company that did the pedestrian study?
Oh, what- Is it an
That's the
acronym?
VHP engineering? No, VHP engineering.
Well, why don't we write VHB engineering?
We'll see. I believe Tara said she checked it, and it may just be, it's an engineering firm called VHP, so.
We should.
We
probably
should,
put
we
an
should write
explanation.
that then, because it's so out of the blue. I just
Yeah.
wrote a question mark
I
by
don't
it.
know where we're looking.
Well, and why do we care?
I don't know where we're looking.
We're looking right above the indented part,
The very last paragraph
86.
before private
Yeah,
roads,
it
with
just,
a long quotation.
it starts VHB provided the following summary of traffic volumes, but it's VHB is out of the blue.
Well,
Yes.
we're telling it's an entity, so it's VHB Engineering LLC or
Yeah,
Inc. or something
so,
like that.
so what we'll
Comma,
do-
a company that we contracted with.
And so I
to
think,
Give us data, you know what I mean? It needs context.
In the paragraph above, it references a request for services to engineering firms.
Put
We
it,
can change that sentence to say, and selected VHB or whatever the title, proper title of the company is,
Yeah,
right?
They
And then
must
the
be
reference to
Inc. or an LLC.
VHB below will make sense.
that'll work.
did
Okay?
they do the roadway improvement plan
Yes.
as well as the pedestrian study?
It's
That was-
I'm sorry, it's HEB engineers. It's not VHB.
Right. But
It's not-
I think the traffic volumes came from, well, I'll have you get back to me on that, Mark, because I
I'll check.
wasn't sure where those came, which study those, I thought those came from the pedestrian study that VHB did. I thought that was correct.
The website just says VHB.
So
None
Yeah,
of it-
that's their
none of
name.
it capitalized,
we'll check.
The,
which is interesting.
yeah, those are two, I think we're talking
Two different things.
two different things here. VHB, the pedestrian study, HEB, the roadway.
The traffic volumes came from VHB.
Okay,
Okay,
so on that, I was lost with LOSD and LOSB. And I wonder even if those numbers make sense now, given that we have speed signs that give us more information.
All right, the VHB is not their technical name.
we'll fix that. We'll
It's
I'll get
Vaness
with you after.
Hagen Bussin Inc.
We'll
Okay.
get
Well,
with you.
that, not,
Whatever.
I'm concerned that when you guys get into these weeds and you don't talk about the actual plan, that the actual plan may cause a surprise to you later on. So, you know, we've made note to follow up on these things. We don't need to spend more meeting time.
So addressing Rich's question about the actual traffic counts, this is a quote from the report. I'd like to leave it the way that it is. And we
This
can-
paragraph is a
this
direct quote?
paragraph, I'm right, Tara, you took this
Yes.
directly.
Yeah,
Well-
that's why it's indented.
That's right, that's why.
Should it not have quotations about it?
No,
It doesn't need to.
It's
It's indented.
APA format.
Okay.
So, but I don't want to change language in here, because it is a direct quote. We can talk about what it means, but because we're not measuring traffic road by road with our current system, we're just getting a gross number of vehicles coming into the back. So I don't want to add anything to this.
I understand, but I have a question. And the question is, we said that recently, the number of residents doubled. More than doubled. And we're now citing traffic volumes from 10 years ago. And I guess the question that I had is, how do we know that those volumes are still relevant?
Well, we don't.
Oh, okay, then
And
never mind.
until we do another study, until we get funding and hire somebody to do another study so that we can do a comparison, we won't know. That's a great point.
I mean,
It's actually the issue that Chief and I talked about with the traffic counts that we're currently getting, right?
I know, but I'm
There's no
saying,
state
you
money.
understand what I'm saying? I'm saying, what we're sitting here saying at one point, we've doubled our residency at least.
Mike, I share your concern. Maybe it's just a sentence that acknowledges the fact
Absolutely.
that recent, we can call it anecdotal or partially, partial analytic data indicates, yeah, we probably an update.
I'm just sitting here saying that I think that when we talk about the number of cars and everything else, and I recognize that we really don't have hard data, somehow the data that's 10 years old or 8 years old, I guess,
So
it's almost irrelevant.
let us work with Tara to
I blame
draft
Rich.
up a sentence. We'll draft up a sentence or two that address.
You understand what I'm saying?
I fully, we agree with you.
Right. I mean, the qualifying sentence that Mark gives me, it may tell you something like, since that intersection was already LOSD and now the traffic has doubled, it's likely even worse, right? I mean,
Whatever, yeah.
it didn't get better, so.
We'll come up with something.
Hey, Tara, from a grammar level in this paragraph before that, that starts in the spring of 2020, somewhere in the middle, it says these improvements, blah, blah, was recommended, should be were.
That's modifying, isn't that modifying bike and pedestrian lane?
I think it's improvements.
No, it's modifying the bike and pedestrian lane.
Yes, right there.
Where? Oh, here.
So that was instead of where. Sorry.
Includes adding a bike and pedestrian lane, that was recommended.
Yeah, the lane was recommended by the pedestrian study.
Right.
Okay.
I guess the one thing I want to make sure we got in there was what Mark had suggested, which is after, in the paragraph in the spring of 2020 paragraph, that after the first sentence, we write in somehow, we selected VHB.
Yeah, I have a note that Mark and I are gonna work on that, on clarifying who did what.
Great.
But I'm trying to keep you moving forward rather than spend 10 minutes wordsmithing a new.
Oh, yeah. And we just noted that we're gonna write somewhere that we're gonna define loss B and loss D. Okay, cool. Why don't we move on then?
LOS. We don't call it loss, we call it LOS, level of service.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, we have to write down what it is.
Is it an A?
No.
Oh,
Move to page.
yes, sir.
Okay.
We haven't even talked about the stuff yet.
I thought it was all important. Never mind.
That first sentence in should be is
Where are you?
under private roads.
Page what? Paragraph what?
Under
Sorry.
private roads,
Private roads, page
page
87.
87, the very first.
The remainder of the
sentence.
road network is
Got
located.
it.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
That's not quite true. And I hate to be nitpicky, but Devereaux Way is half owned by Green Peak and half owned by Terrell, and it's all maintained by Green Peak.
How's that different than what
Doesn't
this?
matter, doesn't matter,
That's a cooperative agreement would be.
yeah. Doesn't matter.
I think I'm finding the tense a little weird. Might say the remainder of the road network is located on private property. These roads are maintained by the property owners through individual contracts or through cooperative associations.
Sure.
Just didn't like the way that read. These roads are shown in orange on the map to the left. Okay, there's not much to talk about there. This next big paragraph, any comments? I think I did write this one, so I'll take,
It's just the past practice and how we changed it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I think it's an important thing to have in here, so the future board doesn't go backwards on it.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask Nancy, shouldn't there be a comma?
Where?
The last sentence, stronger, more detailed provisions.
I'm sorry, what paragraph?
The
are we on?
last sentence in
Next to
private
the-
road,
Very last sentence.
Oh, after revision,
the last sentence in private roads,
stronger and more detailed provisions.
you wanna set aside more detailed with commas or no? It's kind of an optional thing.
Comma after stronger and,
Well, yeah, there should be a comma after stronger.
yeah,
I don't know if the sentence before that makes full sense.
Yeah, I would get rid of dedicated to.
wait a
It
minute,
didn't make sense with, you have to get rid of that.
which one?
Even roads.
The
The
serving-
sentence before that,
Now, let me read it for a second. Even roads serving multiple sets of buildings, intended for dedication, it should say.
Dedication. instead of dedication.
I probably couldn't decide whether to say for dedication or to be dedicated to the town. And this is an important thing. This is somewhere that planning boards drop the ball all the time. You guys have been doing, a good job on it recently. But we wanna make sure the master plan supports your efforts.
Exactly. Just talk about parking.
Nancy, are you okay with that? No, I corrected it to say for dedication.
same thing. Oh, dedication to the town. What do you-
Dedicated
That's a weird word.
That's just-
Yeah,
That's, I got,
it's the actual legal term, Nancy.
Oh, okay, well, that
It's a
helps explain it.
statutory.
Thank you. Because
It's,
I thought that was weird. I said intended for the
It may be the
town.
legal term, but someone reading it, a layperson, will not understand it.
yeah, I think most people reading the master plan will know it's called dedication and acceptance.
Yeah, I
You can
mean,
do town
if it's a legal term, I'm okay with it.
It's a common term. Most people involved in town government are gonna know that it's called dedication and acceptance.
But I'm not worried about people, I'm worried about a layperson reading it.
It's okay. You know, I mean, if you want to keep it simple, you can just say intended for the town.
Yeah, but
Dedicated.
I really want to say the process because
That's okay then. I
Okay.
mean, I'm fine with dedicated to, or dedication to.
that's what's gonna come up during the
It
process.
doesn't answer that anyway.
It, just the fact of approving a subdivision, unless you've articulated otherwise, can be an implied dedication of the road to the town.
Okay,
Oh,
Just-
sorry, Mark.
And as we get into the next two sections, did I understand correctly that at the next meeting, we're gonna talk about the master plan again as well? Because we have all the department heads here, we haven't gotten to any of the actual town facilities. And so I either want to let them go to come back next time, because we're gonna go through these next two sections, they're gonna take some time. Or put off the parking and the shuttle bus discussion till next time, and let's get into the town facilities.
well, we have to
Either
talk,
way,
we do have to talk about some things because we have things that we table.
I don't. I
You're not
don't-
gonna get through it today. You have all the recommendations still.
So,
My problem is, I want to do one of two things with them. I either want to talk with the department heads about town infrastructure, or I
Let 'em
want to
go.
let them go and have them come back.
all right, well,
One of the two.
Tara, what do you recommend?
Oh, I don't care. I'm here for both meetings either way.
I mean, is it easier since they're here now to do that, or is
I
it
would
easier
think
to just
so,
go
but
to the
you-
plan?
If you would just pass parking and the shuttle bus.
Yeah.
And let's get into the facility stuff.
Okay, is that okay, Tara?
Yeah, I'm just putting a note in here so we don't forget.
And also getting the water bill, we can skip all this,
Page 90.
Start with 7.3.
So you want to start here with 7.3.
Okay,
And if there's time, we should then also hop over to the action plan and talk about those recommendations that go with it.
okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So town hall. This, I don't think you guys talked in here about the renovations that are going on in it now.
There are no renovations going on.
Oh, I thought that's why you guys were in a different meeting room.
No, we're in this different meeting room because the meeting room downstairs in town hall is being used for our assessing agents.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was giving you an update you're not getting. So,
Yeah, if
I
only.
think they.
I'm sorry. Okay. Were there any comments then on this town hall safety complex?
I did not see, I did not include any statement. A sentence would probably be sufficient, but something to state that it is not currently meeting the requirements of all of the departments that are located there. We are completely out of space. We do not have sufficient storage space, those sorts of things, so. You know.
So do you want to send me some?
Doesn't meet Well, and public safety also has issues.
Yes, it's very difficult. Just we're having a cell only, coming to register your car and we're using a cell on the other side where you as the public are coming to register your car and yet we're trotting people through.
We've been arrested.
Yeah, it's just safety wise, if the girls. in front of
How about a lead sentence?
So,
Whatever you want to do.
I would say a
was
lead
saying
sentence.
That I did not include that in there.
Right.
so.
I think it should be the final sentence.
Or it's in a paragraph if you have a couple of
can I,
sentences.
can I make a note that,
I don't care what you do it at the beginning or the end, but.
Or a
it's
call
separate.
out box even to.
no,
make
I wouldn't do that.
it appropriate.
This is the narrative where you should be talking about the needs, and then this should explain any recommendations in the action plan. So you totally should, this narrative in this whole chapter should talk about the needs. That's what it's here for. It's not an inventory. It's really a needs analysis. So
Well, I
I'm
think
gonna make
it's
a note that Mark's gonna send me language for that.
Yeah, I think it's a lead paragraph, not a final paragraph.
Well, yeah, we can put that first. Well, I like the idea that we tell you when it was built and what is there. But then we will do a short paragraph that highlights the major deficiencies that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, that's how all of these should flow. You know, what, how did it get here? What's there and what does it need? Should be the end of each of these statements. Well, I'll make a note. Mark's gonna send me that.
We do that, for example, in the next section.
Right. And this is a good example. This is how it should look.
The one after it, we do the same.
So town public works garage is a,
I think we captured the public works garage, Jim, by mentioning that because it's a relatively new building and it's meeting our immediate needs. And the only thing we don't have backup power, so that's already called out, so.
and that's how these should flow.
Yeah,
Okay,
same thing with the maintenance,
Mhm.
storage bay, I think we captured that.
Are we moving on to that? Maintenance bay and sand and salt storage. Were the board members keeping up with Mark there or?
Are you okay with everything? that-
yeah, I didn't have any,
So far?
yeah, I didn't have anything.
Yeah, that covered.
Yep.
And this one, we, again, flows how it should, when it was constructed, what it's doing and its major need. Because anything that you see in the action plan, you want to be able to just glance back at the narrative and see that the need was identified.
Sure. As far as solid waste recycling and the treatment plant, they're all related and all three areas are very much in flux. We tried to capture what's there right now, but it's all gonna change. And however you want to.
It is gonna change drastically
Yeah.
in 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, but in terms of when we publish this.
Yeah, less,
When are we gonna-
like, it's gonna change next year.
It's gonna change, that's true. Next spring, we're moving the 8 dumpsters.
Yeah.
Where the hell are we? Over, wherever the hell we are. That way, I think it's that way. We're moving into there temporarily.
But we say that in this part,
Yeah.
section paragraph.
No, I agree. I think we just need to understand that we couldn't get very detailed and it's going to be very fluid. So you're going to publish a document that may already be undergoing change. So.
Perhaps we should wait to review this to the last moment. And see if you want to make any changes.
Yeah, I mean,
If there's a
if there's.
easy, quick fix.
Yeah. Just put it on the list to be addressed again. just before you publish the plan, we can make sure that it's fully updated from
Okay,
those three areas.
All right, I'm making a note for that.
okay, so what, Mark?
Can we also state, the town is planning to temporarily repost the MSWWs to an area adjacent to the upper transfer station off of Tecumseh Road?
Yeah, you can add,
Because I think that
That'll
people
stay.
will understand that,
that's accurate.
and I think if people understand that better than the way it's written.
I need you to spell it,
Access,
if I'm
the
not
access
looking
should be off Tecumseh Road, right?
So which paragraph?
Yeah, where are you?
It's at the very beginning.
I think we're
Well,
next.
actually, I was going at the end.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I was saying the town, the
Page
town
what,
is,
paragraph what, where are you?
Page
the
95, second paragraph.
second paragraph, where it
Next to
says,
last sentence.
the town is planning to temporarily relocate the MSW dumpsters to an area adjacent to the upper transfer stations. Nobody's gonna know what that means.
Off of Tecumseh Road.
Off of Tecumseh Road.
Yeah, I just need you to spell, I've got it, but I need you to spell Tecumseh because I'm not looking at it, sorry.
TECEM. I'm sorry, UMEH.
SEH.
All right, there's too many people helping. I've got,
Long meeting.
I mean, that's the only, people will understand what that means, not the other.
all right, I need one person speaking, spelling it.
Go ahead, Bert.
TECUMSEH.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a minor typo also, like under solid waste, the title on page 94, the transfer station, just the T and the A are switched in the title.
Yep.
You got it.
Mark, on page 95, the top paragraph.
Yeah.
Halfway through, materials are stored in the open, parentheses, metal and tires, or removable storage containers, parentheses, electronics, slash the parentheses, because tires technically have to be covered. So I just don't want us to get in trouble.
Really?
So metal in
I didn't know that.
parentheses.
You could go, I would just say, materials are stored in the open or removable storage containers.
Leave out the parentheses. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, could you mention what they are in the sentence before anyway?
okay.
Done.
We're in compliance.
Yeah.
Don't you also store compost up there?
Yes,
Do we say that?
you can, in the brush and compost.
I think
You talk about a brush pile. Maybe you can
Where?
add it.
No, there's a compost.
I think that we should say compost, because I think that's an important consideration that's going around the town.
Well,
I agree.
I would hesitate to use the word compost. I think we should make it grass clippings and leaves.
Well, you've got it. That's what's in the.
We have that.
Grass
That's
clippings
what's in
and
the
leaves.
last sentence. I'd leave it that way because it's not an official compost.
Right.
So I'd leave it the way it is.
But why don't we add, this is not an official compost pile, but it's been talked about in the town as something that we need, and we are lacking it currently.
The very
I
last
think we
sentence.
should add it in recycling. If
Okay.
we're gonna mention composting,
It should be
maybe.
recycled.
In
it should be
recycling?
under the
Okay.
Recycling section.
Okay.
All right.
In recycling, the very last sentence, would say
Why
that
you know it's
based
on
on solid waste management activities such as recycling and composting
There you go.
is one possibility.
Okay, good.
We mentioned, I mean, it talks about food waste.
Well, here it does say the second sentence or the second paragraph under recycling, the last sentence talks about composting. So.
Right, I mean, I think we've addressed it in a few places in this recycling section.
Yeah, so I think we're covering it.
Yeah, you are.
It's just, we don't want to get into any issue with our certification.
Yes, I totally cool.
I like the idea that the
So,
composting
not
is
beer
even-
in the morning.
Yep, it is.
Could be.
Yeah,
Okay with
something-
me.
Next time, let me know if you want beer in the morning.
The school- the
I
school,
don't drink so.
we could recycle. John, any additions or issues that you see?
No.
The only other thing, Mark, that I would say is on the page 95, last sentence. Of the second to last paragraph, this method of recycling does require significantly more room for collection and storage, as well as more staff. I would say more room and facility.
And, yeah,
To get the point,
how about
infrastructure? Yeah,
more room and infrastructure?
correct.
Are we on the school now? You okay with that, Nancy?
Well, let's make sure they're done.
I have a question. I discussed this with Wendy. It's an interesting question when we talk about food waste as to how much food waste winds up in our dumpsters and how much food waste, my house, for example, goes down our disposal and into our collection system.
Sewer
And
collection system.
All right. And, you know, I don't know how many people in town have disposal. I don't know what the percentage is or whatever. But it is interesting how much goes where.
Mm.
And there is a difference as to what happens going into our dumpsters and winding up in Bethlehem or whatever, and how much goes down the disposal and into our water treatment plant. And whether we should be talking about that, and because I have a suspicion that's a significant percentage. I just don't know, I don't think it's quantifiable,
Yeah, there's really no way to measure it.
but it is a key component of what is going into our water treatment plant, I think. I'm just throwing out because,
What we can do, I mean, to address this, we can't answer it right now. We can talk to the engineers who are doing the design work. We'll see nationally if there is some standard.
I couldn't
and
find
we'll
one.
try to bring, we'll try to bring you information back.
I couldn't find one, but
Well,
Well, the engineers probably
Yeah,
have it.
I mean, they're a lot better.
Plants all over the place,
Yeah.
so
it is just
we'll talk to
interesting.
experts about it.
Yeah, it is an interesting question between the two different things.
We'll see if it's met, we'll see if it's significant enough to warrant trying to address it in some. We'll get you more.
I just, you know, I try and think of these things.
Couldn't you just put in a sentence here where it says about the EPA study of the percentage solid waste, food waste, and couldn't we just add a sentence that in towns such as Borough Valley that have centralized wastewater treatment facilities, some also adds to the cost of running the facility or something like that?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing, like a general statement that if it is significant enough, we can add that. It may be
I don't know.
totally insignificant. Well, let us just.
Yeah, my guess is it's not, because with a private septic system, we always recommend people not have a garbage disposal.
Yeah,
It does add to the burden
right.
system, so
Yeah.
I've just put in a note that you're gonna get back to me on that, so.
That was true back in our old days back in Sharon, Massachusetts. We were told not to minimize that
Right.
as opposed to it, which bothered me as probably, but I don't know what percentage of the units in Waterville Valley have disposal? I have no idea.
Roger.
Mark, huh?
We'll find out. We'll find out what the standard is. Yeah, maybe the assessment.
You think so?
No, no.
I don't think it's that
Move on.
detailed.
Elementary school.
We don't want them that
is
detailed.
important.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any other comments or
I'm
should we
sorry.
move to elementary school?
I
Okay.
apologize.
Should we include Ellsworth as part of SAU 48?
It is part of SAU 48, and we now have students from Ellsworth coming to our school.
I mean, we used to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we always
nice
have.
kids.
Yeah, but I mean, now coming in. and
Okay,
switching.
done. I added it.
It's added.
You'll have to change the way the sentences are put together then, because the way it's outlined is Water Valley is part of SAU 48, along with, the following schools. Students in each town receive K through 8 education. There's no K through education in Ellsworth, so.
No, there isn't. You're right.
Right, they have no school,
So the way that it's just laid out here, those two sentences will have to be changed if you want to include Ellsworth.
but Ellsworth is part of SAU
It
48.
certainly is.
Yeah, so,
It
In
doesn't
most
have its
towns.
own-
You can say students in each town except Ellsworth.
Done.
I think it the students receive, right? They just get to.
but they don't receive it in their own community.
They don't even have a town.
So just say except Ellsworth.
I did it. Can you guys not see the screen? That
Got
Got it.
it.
She
it's
got
too
it.
small or?
So
No,
in
it's
the-
good.
No, she's behind the screen, so she cannot see it.
Wow.
It is small, but.
Can you
If I
read
make it any bigger, I can't see the left to right.
No problem.
So it lists Ellsworth, and then the next sentence it says, in each town except Ellsworth receives K through 8
Yeah.
education.
Sorry.
That's good. to know.
And then the second sentence, or like a continuation of that sentence. And then we shouldn't say then attend, because every year, one or more of our
Many,
graduates go off to private high school, not
many
to,
attend,
what?
many.
Are
And
able
then, I was
to.
gonna say then can't.
I think most, it probably covers it better.
Okay, I just needed a,
I don't know if it's most or many.
we just need a,
Yeah, most students, that's
most
good.
is fine.
I think the point really isn't so much how many go there, it's that that's your high school. That's,
Students
Well,
in
no,
town
but I
are
don't want it,
able.
but attend means that they all do.
that's your designated high school. So
Most
covers it.
Yeah.
is fine.
So you can say most, or you can say they're able to.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
We're all set.
That's why I said can or may or.
In the next sentence, or in the next paragraph, the second sentence, the school building houses also, or the school building also houses the recreation department, including basketball court and multipurpose room with complete audiovisual capacity. I think that just listing those 2.5 things is misleading, because there's more to it than that.
True.
So I think you either say them all or you don't say any of them. You just say, for right now, it houses the recreation department in
Period.
period.
Period,
Because
okay.
on the next section with recreation department, it goes into more detail about what that includes.
Good,
Okay.
that's good.
Done.
Any other comments on the school building?
I had, on that paragraph, I had one, I kept stumbling over in migration. First I read immigration and then I double checked.
I'm not sure where, yeah, that's the term though.
Okay, that's it, then I'm good.
Third sentence,
That's the term,
or fourth sentence, sorry.
That's all I needed,
Last
thank you.
paragraph on page 96.
saying that people moved there rather than there was
Okay,
6 years ago, a big population, baby boom.
The only other thing that I would consider adding to the school paragraph would be the year that the recreation department portion was added in that joint agreement. So that would have been, I think, 92, is that right?
We talk about that in the recreation section,
Okay, I don't know.
I think. Let's make sure we talk about it in the recreation section. I'm not sure it's that important. The
I mean,
one
just-
focusing on the
Yeah.
school.
What year though, because the building changed significantly in that year, so I don't know. if you-
Yeah, I
you
think it
wanna
would be
have
good
that
to say when it
mentioned.
was made, built. Does anybody remember?
yeah, we do that with other,
I
Yeah.
can look that up, I have it in my office, but I believe it was 92.
All right, why don't we put that down as a placeholder and just write it in,
We do that with other facilities.
Recreation Department since 1992.
I'll make sure it matches what we say in the rec section there.
Going back.
We
to
don't
the-
say anything about it.
The second paragraph of elementary school.
Somewhere.
Back to, okay.
Just the very last sentence, again, I was stumbling over this, after the pandemic is under control. I was stumbling over under control.
Ah,
Yeah,
The last sentence. of
In the big
second
picture, you
paragraph.
cannot control the virus, but
yeah,
After the pandemic is.
Becomes an endemic?
after
Well,
people stop worrying about being safe. I don't want to say that.
or you could just say after things normalize. You don't have to talk about the pandemic.
Yeah. Could we say in the next few years? It is not yet known how many of these families.
Okay,
Right.
that's good.
That's where I was going with it, after the pandemic.
Yeah.
After the pandemic.
Instead of characterizing it, let's just say in the next few years.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, talk about political, let's,
No, it's just, it's just the under.
don't
control.
talk about the virus at all. We're staying out of politics.
It's with us forever.
Yeah.
Let's start us. That's for sure.
Boosters forever. As well as someone who talks.
I would like to work with Tara and come up with one more sentence before the word enrollment. And talk about where we have been over the last 9 to 12 months with population, because population is continuing to go up. So if we say in the next few years, I think we need to massage that, because we are not seeing a slowdown in the number of people coming.
Huh?
So I just think that we need to, I'd like to work with her on that
Okay,
and try to come up with some different words.
It could just be from post-pandemic and nothing else.
Yeah, it could be, but I'm just saying that that sentence where it's saying is not yet known how many families will continue.
Okay, I see
The
what
bottom
you're
line
saying.
is people are continuing to come here.
As well.
And
Right.
so, and it's at a quicker pace than we were pre-pandemic.
I see, so you want a
So
sentence
I
like
want
that.
a sentence like that or something, so.
Is the school?
Because I think it supports what we say in the last sentence
Right.
about being in the mid-50s for the foreseeable future. That's
That is,
important.
that is what we are, now putting my school board hat on, that is what we are guessing, which is the best word I can say, we don't know. That is what we are guessing for the next few years. I mean, you get out more than 2 or 3, 4 years, your guess is as good as anyone else. But
I'll work with, I'll work with
Forget
Karen.
everything.
You need the last sentence at all?
Well, we'll see. Let us massage it a little. We'll look at the numbers and see how we frame it.
Is this correct that it was designed for 45 students?
that is correct.
Well, it's beyond that as well. It was designed for 45 total students, but that's in equal numbers of 15 in
15 and
each
15.
pod for each of the 3 categories. So it's even more limiting than the 45 students.
Yeah, but I don't think you have to get that, especially since
Well,
we are.
no, there's
exceeding.
3 equal size rooms with,
That's
and
right.
it's, designed with 3
And that's
teachers.
what's causing us to have to use the multipurpose room, and what's
Yeah.
causing us to have to use different spaces for classrooms is because of the way it was designed.
Well, for example, we're estimating in excess of 20, for example, in what we call middle school, 6, 7, 8. It's
That's
gonna
right.
be
And
in
that-
excess of 20 next year.
My kids would have loved that.
But that means,
My kids would have loved it.
No, I'm not making good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
But, the numbers are not changing currently.
it is important.
Yeah, I think we should add that. because that is a challenge that we're facing.
It is a major
We'll
change.
massage that whole
Okay.
paragraph. And that drives the impact on the rec especially.
Mhm.
I don't want to keep talking about this too much. I know we're all in a hurry, but I think it's also because there was a 3 or 6 foot space need, which is why you couldn't jam 20 kids into a room, not that you want to, but I think that's what the ultimate decision was. Am I right?
Pardon.
Partially.
Okay.
I mean, basically, as soon as we exceeded the 45, we had to totally redesign where we put, where the classrooms were and the number of classes.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, basically, yeah, it was designed for 315. We have more, I mean, it's now more than 3 now.
So even without those space requirements, we're not likely to put 50 plus kids back in the original school. We're not likely to do that.
As soon as you get over much over 45, or even depending upon the distribution of the 45.
Yeah.
All right, so that, you know, you have, as we pointed out, that they were designed for 15 kids in a classroom. If you have 20 kids in a cohort, which I guess is the new term is the use, if you have more than 15 kids in a cohort, you have that situation anyway,
Yeah.
other than the multi-purpose room.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know just for, I think,
No, but we,
planning and,
yeah, I don't know how we plan more than.
well, I
When
mean,
you
for the rec
down.
department, not for the school. 'Cause
I understand, no,
obviously that comes
Brooke, I understand,
first.
but you understand.
Yes, of course.
You understand, and you talk to all that.
Yeah.
Next year's not gonna change.
Right. Oh, yes.
I think the details that we had about the building are in the recreation chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to go to that chapter?
No, I wasn't saying to go back to that chapter. I was saying I
We
knew,
haven't gotten there yet.
I knew that the years were in there somewhere and I just wanted to find where it was.
I don't think that the addition is anywhere in the recreation chapter.
We'd say the town, in 1989, the town residents voted to build a facility to house the Waterville Valley Recreation Department adjacent to the elementary school located at 3 Newton Road. The spaces used by the rec department include blah, blah, blah.
I did not see that 89.
Let's see, we have to go back to the recreation chapter, which is the chapter beforehand.
Well, I'm not suggesting we go back to it, but
Section,
I just don't know where you're looking.
oh, it's a different page. What page are you on?
The recreation department is following the school, right?
Oh, no, she's talking about the actual chapter called recreation, which is the
Oh,
previous
I see.
chapter.
Okay.
And we talk about the rec department there in
Got
a
it.
much broader,
yes.
deeper,
I don't have that in front of me.
I wasn't
yeah, so that's page 42.
suggesting we go back. I was
Okay,
clarifying where we talked about the years.
Yeah, we're ready to go, I think, to page 97.
Yes.
yeah, I don't think we actually say when it was built though, and.
Right,
so-
no, I'm not, I think it's fine to add it here.
Yeah, we can.
I just wanted to remember where I had seen more detail.
Yeah, let's put since 1992 here, okay?
For the first, where you wanna go?
So, yeah, so let's go to 97,
Yeah.
rec department.
I was gonna
paragraph here.
change that sentence, which I say the recreation department offices are located within the Waterville Valley School building. I just didn't like the word co-located, but it shouldn't be wordsmithing, that's not my thing.
No, but I think you have a point, because right, who maintains the building?
Yeah.
And that's the point, right?
Yeah, the school is responsible.
Yeah, it's not within the school, it's within the school building.
Yeah.
And I don't think offices should be capitalized. It doesn't make sense.
You say the Parks and Recreation Department
Yeah, everything is gonna globally get changed, I think.
is located.
It's located within the Waterville Valley Elementary School building.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
I don't know if we need to put this in here, but maybe a sentence about how that happened, that the recreation department ended up in the school building. You know, it was a community vote, it was a community decision.
And that's what I was saying is already covered in the recreation chapter.
Okay, great.
That's where I read to you from the 1989 vote.
Okay. So does anyone else have any corrections? I have a couple.
Yeah.
So in that, let's see, it would be the third sentence, the large increase in residents occurred, blah, 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 which currently exceeds original design capacity. I think.
Well, it exceeds the design capacity. I mean, with the design
Well,
capacity.
no, I like original because it's been redesigned multiple times, hasn't it?
And it gets to the point
Some-
that it's no
Yeah.
longer serving the recreation department's needs.
Yeah,
Well, that's true, because the old art room,
Most overflow space.
where the old art room is now, where they have the fire and guild and everything else is now gone, and is kindergarten, for example.
yeah, like when I first took the job in 2015, Gail Hannigan showed me all the space that was the rec department and the schools, and that went as far as the cafeteria, you know, so it's just, I just think it's giving more detail to say original. That's just
I
my
agree.
feeling.
Okay.
And I skipped a spot. It says that the building use agreement to share use of the common areas such as multi-purpose room and gymnasium. I believe that we should include kitchen, cafeteria, gym, and gym storage closet to that. If we're gonna bother listing.
Well, I wouldn't bother listing, say various. And I think
I don't
that,
know. I think it's important to be clear, isn't it, about what
Yeah.
those shared spaces are.
Because it's
I
all
agree.
the
If
problem.
we're saying such
I
a,
agree. We should be specific. This is infrastructure after all.
Yeah, multi-purpose room, kitchen, cafeteria, gym
go,
storage.
can you
closet.
go a little slower? I got kitchen.
Yep. Okay, so we have multi-purpose room, kitchen, cafeteria, gymnasium, and gym storage closet. I mean, bathrooms, I think are just, we don't need to list that probably, because.
I think you do,
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay, and the,
because those are clearly the same issue.
yeah, and the art room, but I don't know what we call that. That was another part of that shared space.
Right, it was.
Former art room.
Huh?
What is it? Yeah, I think you should write the art room.
Okay, so
Art room.
add the bathrooms and the,
We call it art room, that was
It
what it was.
Okay.
In the context of the original design.
the art room. I mean, right now it's called the resource room.
Resource.
How do you specify are they like lobby bathrooms or gym bathrooms? Or the bathrooms in between the cafeteria and the gym?
Adjacent.
But bathrooms adjacent to the gymnasium.
Okay, yeah, so the gym adjacent bathrooms.
I mean, they're very different. They're more like guest bathrooms than like,
All right,
Yeah,
we'll just call them
schools.
gym adjacent
Okay.
bathrooms.
and I don't think we need to say the lobby. Do you think we need to say the lobby? Maybe we do.
Yeah, sure.
And the lobby, at the
You're gonna do that
lobby, Tara.
specific.
Yeah,
It's an
Do it right
awful
here.
lot- It's an awful lot list, yeah.
I think that's the point. If
Yeah.
you go further on in the discussion, and you end up with a sentence saying, we need to consider construction of a new facility.
Well, we need to
Yeah.
consider what
But
what's
that's
gonna
because-
happen with.
I
That's
think
the
you need to
English-
go
that's the
through then,
English
you know, here are all the things that you've now lost.
Right. It's just being clear so
Yeah.
people can
Yeah, no,
follow
no, it's
along
perfect.
without
I
having
think
been
it's
there.
great.
In
And
fact, you
then-
probably should have a table that lists all the things that you share and then all the things that have
That's a good
been
idea.
used.
Like a floor plan kind of,
Yeah, so that you can kind of see, we now only have the gym, the
right,
lobby.
right.
You can
and
bring
not
me
only
food.
not during school hours.
Yeah, and not even during school hours.
Okay, right. So that's a really good idea.
Because that,
Well, but there's
yes,
three
because
things.
adults now don't really have access to anything.
Well, during school hours.
Right.
Well,
Correct.
And after school hours, all you get is the lobby.
No,
and the gym
I'm
and the
not making, that
bathrooms.
wasn't a critical comment.
Oh,
It
I
is-
know.
it
I'm
is-
just trying to make it clear to
Yeah,
everybody.
it is that which you have
Yeah,
all the time, that which you have never, and that which you have off hours. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Non-school hours.
Right.
And maybe 3 towers on the floor plan.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea.
I think, yeah, because there are those three, and I think you're right, they are different.
And I don't know if it works, but maybe a side-by-side of what it was pre-pandemic
Uh-huh.
and what it is now.
Yeah.
Because that really illustrates
For
everything.
for everyone to
that
see, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
The key is that last sentence. That's the
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it says, as a result, the common areas have been converted into classrooms. I would add an S on the end of that. Classroom to classrooms.
If, yeah,
Plural.
but we're probably gonna we're gonna totally gut this paragraph if you're gonna add a table instead, right?
I think the table is in addition to this.
I wouldn't have a detailed list like we just made if it's gonna also be on a
We
table.
don't need a detailed list if there's a table, I don't think.
No, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, previously
Right,
available.
but the talking about the large increase in residents, which occurred in the dates and mean a corresponding, like
Yeah,
that.
that's all good.
part.
I just things like that detailed long list in the sentence.
Oh, yeah.
We'd have that in a table instead,
C table.
like as shown in the table below, blah, blah, blah. So I'll rework that when we get, when I receive a table.
The only other note I had, which is debatable, is down towards the bottom. The long-term issue will be identifying whether the increased resident or the increased use of facilities is permanent. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, it's the one before. It's talking about severely curtailing the ability of the recreation department to provide programming to adult residents, and there's a little group of under 4-year-olds or under preschoolers that we were serving during the week.
Open gym.
Not open gym, that we're no longer, the only time we can serve that group of kids is on the weekends. And of course, we have the race center now, which is wonderful, because that's serving that, but I think that we're probably missing out. So it's up to you if you want to
Take out
include
the-
that. There's a couple of specific age groups that we're not able to serve right now.
Preschool.
Preschool and.
Pre-pandemic.
and Adults.
Just take out adult.
Or take out adult. And
Or-
those are just-
Programming with
Or
residents.
certain groups, I mean,
To certain
because
residents.
we are serving.
Oh, I think you should just list who the groups that you're missing out on.
Yeah.
I think you should identify.
Adult and what do we want to call them, toddlers? I don't know,
Yeah.
they're very young,
The very
Maybe.
young, yeah.
because we're definitely serving the elementary school at a higher capacity than we were in the past.
You don't want to say preschoolers?
Well, but that gets into the whole what's going on in the,
I would say
Cottage.
very young. You know, it's really a mom.
it's the old mom and baby,
Yeah,
mom
yeah,
and priest,
yeah.
the very young, the under 3s.
Then just maybe say under 4s.
Okay,
Is that what it is?
What's
yeah,
under
basically,
3 or
Okay.
4 or
Because
whatever.
you start, preschool starts with 4, right?
yeah.
3.
And even though we have a preschool, you still get those. groups
yeah,
that don't go to preschool.
Can we say then to adult residents and those under 4?
Well, except that down below, we say it's offered to ages 3 to 5.
Where?
If you go down to the Curious George
But
Cottage,
that's-
yeah, beginning in 2000.
But this is the rec department's ability
Okay.
to serve.
Adults and toddlers and adults.
I think
Okay.
toddlers are good,
Toddler's fine.
Okay,
Toddler's fine.
Toddlers.
because they're walking and.
and that's all I have, for that.
Yeah.
I don't think my spell check is working.
This paragraph in Curious George, we're missing Ray Cultural Center.
Yeah, the rate.
I need to finish one section at a time here.
Sorry.
So we're saying toddlers and adult residents and to guests still, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe that sounds not right.
We skip these next sections and go to the treatment plant that way.
Yes.
We won't have to come back.
Sure.
Yeah.
So after we're done with rec, we're moving to.
Page
We're gonna go to
1.
wastewater treatment plant on page 100.
Okay.
Page 1. Okay.
Well, wasn't it
Uh-huh.
Cochran's Pond was
That's
with,
okay. I have more flexibility probably than Dylan today, so.
okay.
Yeah,
We need Dylan to man those now.
that's.
Yeah. Please.
Sorry,
Right. I'm with you now.
Is 25 million still the estimate?
No,
Oh, good. Is it up?
that was the one comment I had, we may want to change. That we said an estimate cost of 25 million.
I was just asking if that's still current.
No.
That's all the way,
I would delete that.
What should be?
No, I'm serious.
Doesn't seem like comments.
Whatever number you put in there.
No, no, I understand. That's why I asked the question.
Totally, yes, I would take.
I'm hearing two people. So, sorry.
I'm sorry. Mark and I were talking to each other.
Yes, you're right, that's right.
Go ahead, Mark. Yeah, could you? Go ahead, we all agree.
So it should be like a,
Yeah.
I'm hearing Nancy too. So are we taking this sentence out?
On
Yes.
page 101, the top paragraph,
The estimated cost of the new plant.
I would delete that sentence.
Okay, done.
We're-
Done.
Is yet to be determined. How
Okay.
about that?
That's
Okay.
fine.
Oh, wait, you said to delete it.
Wait a minute.
Good, just delete it.
we're changing.
Hit
the
undo.
change.
What are we doing? You guys decide and then I'll do it.
I think that you need to talk about the estimated cost, make it so that it's here. But say it's yet to be determined is a good way to say.
That's scary now.
Yeah, this should be a colon.
That's even more scary, or to say it that way.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything like is expected to exceed blah, blah, blah?
No.
No.
Don't put any number on it.
Yeah, we don't want
Depends, except, yeah.
anybody bidding on it to see that. Yeah,
All right, good.
About the roads.
exactly.
Tara, on page 100, the sentence that starts with wastewater is treated in a series of 3 lagoons. I think the way it's written makes it seem like there are 6 lagoons. And so if we can put a colon after 3 lagoons or a semicolon. I don't know which one's correct.
Just got a colon
Got it.
or a dash.
Thank you.
Whatever, okay. Well, I didn't know that was the second paragraph after that. I didn't know it was a written thing. Okay.
You learned something.
Yeah.
We've never done this in such depth.
So any questions for Dylan on
Wastewater,
wastewater?
are we looking at water supply as well? Or just wastewater?
We can squeeze it in. If
The collection system is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And I think all of this is accurate language. Yeah.
What is there a type of sewer other that, what does gravity sewers, there another kind?
Yeah, force main.
Wow, I learned enough.
I have a comment on page 102. The very top, the first sentence of the first paragraph.
Overtime,
Yeah,
not hyphenated or one word.
I might change it to over time, comma, manhole cover seals can also deteriorate and allow rainwater to enter, period.
Yeah.
Love that.
You want to leave the system to enter the system?
No, it just, we know what it. That's what it's entering.
All right.
I have one small correction on the second sentence, the extent of such leakage, we could change that to infiltration. It's not a leak as much as it's
Oh,
infiltration.
change leakage to infiltration.
Yes.
Two different terms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. 20 to 25%. That's a big number.
That's low compared to some places down south. Full systems 75%.
What's it supposed to be?
The lower the better.
Yeah,
Sure,
you
but
would want
There's no
zero,
supposed
right?
to be- It's really an age thing
Yeah.
in a water road
Okay.
system.
Yeah.
I thought that was hot. Okay.
And then a small thing on the next paragraph, at the far right of the first sentence, it just should be and instead of AD.
Can I go back to the 20 to 25%?
Sure.
Do you anticipate that unless certain maintenance is done, that would increase?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Should
and
we
that's
not-
why the next paragraph, our new
Okay.
EPA permit requires us to have a maintenance plan. We, under the previous permit, we never had to do that. This will be a major change to the way we approach ongoing maintenance of the collection system. So that's a key paragraph in this whole section.
Wow. Okay. So maintenance add should be and,
It's already changed.
I'm sorry. I was. I'm
Water,
sorry.
supply. Any other questions on wastewater?
So, no, well, just a general question, which is, so the maintenance, it would cost more, the mandatory maintenance than what we would do if we had a choice?
I mean,
We have to create an actual plan now and submit it to the EPA annually. And they require.
Annually?
Yes,
And they
annually.
require us to do a bare minimum of things that we in the past haven't had to do on an annual basis. So that's why it inflates the cost.
Then should we not say with,
Okay.
maintenance plan be submitted to the EPA annually? I think annually is an important, I mean, when I say doing a plan, I think in terms of 5 and 10 and 20 years. You're telling me this has, even though I assume that it's,
how about we add the word in the third sentence before the word replacement, just say annual replacement plans.
okay,
under
but I
the-
think that it's, the annualism
Is that okay?
is important. And I'm sure it has to be approved by the select.
No, well, it has to, more importantly, it has to be approved by DES. and-
No,
That's- That's.
We have
the
no
issue
choice.
we have.
I understand.
We approved it.
I mean, towns defer maintenance and now we're not going to do it.
I understand.
But did we say annual for the wrong thing if we do that? Isn't the plan gonna be updated annually for all three of these things?
Well, yes, okay, so we could put it in the first sentence.
I was gonna put it in the
before
first
word
sentence.
I don't think it goes here. Yeah.
A detailed annual collection system.
A detailed annual collection system maintenance replacement plan.
How about
Yeah,
an annual
I
maintenance
like
and
that.
replacement plan?
Annual has to be in there somewhere.
Annual.
Yeah, it should be annual maintenance and replacement plan.
Annual maintenance and replacement.
Is it, do they have to approve it annually?
Yes,
Oh,
it has to be updated and the EPA reviews it annually.
Is it
That's so much
EPA?
work.
It is an annual plan.
What if we
So it has
say
to be approved by
annual,
both agencies?
Yes.
what if we say annual approval of,
A detailed collection system maintenance.
Oh my God, no wonder they're hiring more people.
new permit requires the annual approval of a detailed collection system maintenance and replacement plan?
That's true as
Yeah,
well.
that's okay. Yep. Annual approval.
God.
Obviously, if it's gotta be approved annually, it has to be developed, so we can lose that word.
So but that's important, unfortunately.
Can I ask a question? There's a sentence here that says the upgrade cost is commensurate to a new facility. Since now we know the new facility's cost has dramatically increased, is that still a true statement?
What sentence you?
Where are you?
I'm sorry.
I don't see the context. Right.
Page,
Or maybe the,
paragraph.
the second or third paragraph after the start of water treatment?
Wait a minute.
And the study also determined,
What page you
I
on?
have an old
Here's the
version.
version.
What
no.
page you
I'm
on?
on page 101 on my version.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna help.
But water treatment plant, so 1 to the second paragraph. Like the
Water
last-
treatment or wastewater?
You should probably just grab a
Wastewater
new.
treatment.
Right, you said water.
So it's back on the updated page 10.
It's page 101.
It is one.
It's been updated.
Yep, at the
So
top, several
here's-
modern treatment technologies are available.
It's a new planning site.
This is the new language. This was changed. All this was changed. So he's got the older version.
have it.
We've already made the
Yeah,
change.
because I'm not finding that language.
It's
Yeah,
not
okay.
in the-
Okay.
But from a business perspective, what's the answer to the question?
Can you repeat it?
Did the cost to upgrade the treatment plant increase the same as the cost increase to replace it?
Yes.
Yes.
And it won't meet standard.
It won't, yeah, there are other drawbacks, not just the active.
Jim, can I see you for 1 minute after this?
You want to, there, there's- go ahead.
Like we.
Yeah, we're not gonna get through water treatment, so.
Oh, no?
please stop, Nance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stop the whole meeting right now?
Yeah.
Well, we got just a few minutes, and I don't want to get halfway through water treatment and just leave it. I mean, I think you need to,
Yeah, like 3-4 pages.
yeah, there's 3 or 4 pages of
Okay.
the water, so.
So, why don't we just finish out the centralized water treatment building? Because the 102 to the very top of 103,
Okay, go ahead.
because we were on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just had one comment on the top of 103, second paragraph.
I don't think we got to water at all yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to drink water.
Yeah, you haven't gotten.
Oh, okay, so we
that's
just,
drink-
We didn't start water supply, so
Okay.
let's,
Stop.
so stop here then, stop
in the
at water
middle.
supply.
Stop in the middle.
yeah, I would make sure you're
All
all
right.
good with
Sorry, I
wastewater.
jumped too far ahead. Okay,
Make sure you're good with wastewater.
Up that collection system.
so we stopped here. Okay. So I think we're just gonna have to stop here then. All right, yeah, okay, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting
I move we adjourn the workshop.
or workshop.
I'll
Second,
Second that.
John, all right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
okay, meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you, Tara.
I didn't know that that was annual.